Harshberger, and we are your missionaries to Northern Ireland. We have been serving here in Northern Ireland alongside the local church to help plant and revitalize. For our first term, we served as campus pastors of a church here in Downpatrick, where we were able to see people come to know Jesus for the first time, be a part of some amazing outreaches, and hosted some great missions teams that have helped us do some important work here in our town.
Along with church planting in this season of COVID and lockdown, we were able to start a brand new kids ministry on YouTube called Party Create. This has really helped us connect with schools and our community. Party Create is a bridge into our community that helps us set up assemblies and workshops for our local primary schools. It is also a creative connection to our city that will help open doors for a new church plant here in 2022.
Yeah, we'll be moving to Newry, Northern Ireland here this fall to launch a new church. God is so faithful, and we are so excited to see what He does in this new community. So thank you so much for your support. God is building His church here in Northern Ireland through your partnership and your prayers.
Some practical ways that you can connect and partner with us further is to pray for Newry, pray for that community, for more connections and the families in that area. You can subscribe and share our YouTube channel to your family and all the kiddos in your life. And you can continue to give so that we can continue to go. Thank you guys so much for your support, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
See ya.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Yon. If you don't know, I'm one of the pastors here, and we are joined live and in person right from the video, right in the room with Tom and Brooke Harshberger. And I don't know, last time they were here, we surprised them, and they just showed up to kind of worship with us, and then we invited them up on stage, and we asked them some questions and gave them some money, and they were a little bit surprised, so they didn't say much, and then so we apologized for that, and we gave them lots of advance warning this time, so we're glad that they can be here live and in person, so thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and we are going to talk a little bit about what your ministry is looking like and what your future looks like, so we know that kind of coming out of COVID, you had this great opportunity, and you did a great little pivot to creating Party Create. And so tell us a little bit about, we saw a little bit about it in the video, but tell us a little bit about kind of where you are, where your new venture is, your new kind of project to go plant a church, and your future Party Create. And we'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
So we were campus pastors, church planners of a church in a place called Downpatrick, which is about an hour south of Belfast in Northern Ireland. And so we helped get a church started there, and then right when COVID hit, we had actually transitioned out of the church to move to a new city to plant a church in a city called Newry, and then obviously COVID hit maybe a week after we left, and so it was like, shoot, what do you do when the world is locked down and you want to plant a church? And so we were kind of figuring out what to do, and so we had really kind of got to put children's ministry and social work and church planning and outreach and all that kind of stuff in our hearts, and so and just creativity and art and all that. And so we looked at starting a YouTube channel specifically for kids in Ireland, although kids around the world check it out and stuff. But so we started this YouTube channel with art and creativity and faith, and really with just a way to build credibility with schools and administrators and principals to be able to do school assemblies in the schools. And so Ireland has different rules when it comes to the separation of church and state. And so we can actually go into schools and do religious education courses. We can do assemblies, and we can actually present the gospel in school, which is incredible. It's an amazing opportunity. And so we'll be using Party Create to build a bridge into the community, go into schools, do all that, build a bridge with families, and then out of that plant a church in the town that we're moving to. So
it's pretty incredible. And if you don't have a YouTube account, okay, as they're speaking, all right, get on your phone. That's okay. Jump on, create a YouTube account, and immediately subscribe to their channel, okay? Party Create. We'll help you do that if you need help after service. But that's a pretty incredible story in terms of, just an incredible opportunity to pivot, see the need of the community, and kind of live incarnationally with them. Can you give us a kind of a picture around what the future holds? You're building a team. What does it look like to plant a church, or to restart planting the church? That whole process in that new kind of endeavor. When you look at, you mentioned a lot of things like social work, like kids ministry, outreach, actually planting a church. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, so we're doing a couple of things, and we are definitely looking to expand our team. So we're looking, actively looking this summer for anyone who really feels called to missions, calls into full-time ministry, who is a creative or who is not, or just has a heart for what we're doing, for what God is doing in Ireland. We would love to have you on our team full-time. And if you want to talk to us about that after service, we would absolutely love to pray with you and talk about the logistics of all that. But we are growing our team. So we have Party Create happening, which, as Tom described, started off as this YouTube channel, was a way as church planters, how do you get into your community when you're not allowed to leave your house? For us, that was YouTube. So we were able to be in the homes of hundreds of families all across Northern Ireland through our YouTube channel, which has just been amazing how God has moved in that way. And then through the YouTube channel, now we're going to be able to do school assemblies. We'll be able to get into schools. And we needed a lot of help to pull some of that off, a full-fledged, interactive, creative kids school assembly, presenting the gospel in a really fun and creative way. So we'll be doing that. We also, around Christmas time, we became the missionary kid pastors for the area of Northern Europe. So we have about 55 or so kids from birth to university age that we oversee pastoral care for missionary kids in Northern Europe. And that's a whole huge ministry that we're doing mostly over Zoom right now, but that also involves different retreats, different camps that we'll be putting on for them, really just making sure that they know that before their identity as a missionary kid, before their identity as an expat, before their identity as anything, that they're loved and cared for by Jesus and that they have a purpose. And recognizing their sacrifice, growing up away from grandparents, growing up away from all the normal things that your average American kid might have. So that's been a tremendous new ministry that we've been a part of that we also would love some help with. And then also church planting in 2022. So out of Party Create, we're going to be able to, as we said, go into schools and being able to start a home group in our home in Newry, and being able to launch the church plant out of that in 2022. So we have a few things going on. Yeah.
Anybody here feel like you're not doing enough with your life right now? I do.
It was easy. No, it wasn't. But it was easier when the world was locked down and we did it all from home. But now it's actually happening. So God's moving, which is exciting, but we need some help.
Yeah, what we're talking about in terms of help is, if you feel like just a call, or say, I feel like that sounds really interesting, or it feels like something I want to be in, potentially even just ask questions about, because I'm sure you probably had these when you thought, I'm going to go be a missionary. All these questions around logistics and all the things that it requires. And so if you're watching, joining us online, you're here, and you think, maybe that might be me, I would just like to learn more about it, just take that first step, right? That's the first step of learning more, because there's all sorts of ways to work out all the logistics. And I just, I'm about, if I wasn't married to a lovely woman, I would just say, hey, I'm gonna go next week with you, all right? We're going to Northern Ireland, okay? So, but I won't do that, sorry, Jules. But take that next step. They'll be in the lobby afterwards. You can connect with them and kind of and learn more about that. But I know last time you were here, when we surprised you, we kind of gave you a little extra cash because you are one of our, you're a homegrown missionary. Tom, you were here on staff, and your family's been a part of this church for a long time. And so we're one of the people that we love raising up missionaries, kind of from our own church. And we gave you a chunk of money, a little extra support. Can you tell us a little bit about what's planned for that, and kind of just all the support in general, and how you're going to invest it?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much. You guys have no idea what the gift that you guys gave is doing to help further the mission of God in Northern Ireland. And Specifically for what you guys gave, it went to a lot of tech stuff that we needed to get our channel off the ground, and it also is going towards a lot of tech stuff that allows us to have assemblies in schools. So we're not the kind of school assembly that just comes in and just has a lecture. Like, we come in and we are going to be doing puppet show, light shows, all sorts of crazy stuff, just being as exciting as we possibly can for kids. And obviously that costs money. And so for you guys to be able to give to that is such a blessing to us, because we get to provide a really compelling presentation for kids that these kids probably would never see in Northern Ireland. It's just not a thing over there. And so we're doing something so out in left field, and we're just so grateful that you guys gave and are giving so that we can do these events and these assemblies.
Yeah. And if you don't know anything about that culture, I mean, it's incredibly, it's way past post-Christian, right? I mean, like, it's not, they're not going to casually run into people who just are really Bible-believing, gospel-centered people where they can just have that interaction. It's really kind of, you're almost in an unreached people group over there as well, right?
It's interesting because it's a mix, because Northern Ireland is considered in some ways the Bible Belt of Europe, because it's so saturated with Christianity, but at the same time, because it's so saturated and because there's been such a history of division and violence and sectarianism between Catholics and Protestants, there is a huge amount of people in our country that have just been so turned off by the church and want nothing to do with it. And so we've got this really unique and complicated culture to navigate, which is one of the reasons why when we looked at starting a church, we're like, we have to start 5 steps back from the average church planner. And what do we have to do to get into the community, to build trust with families that have been burned by the church, and seriously burned by the church? And so we thought, well, hey, let's work in the schools. Let's do this kids project thing. And but thank you guys so much for your gift, because it really is helping us get into places that the average person does not be able to get into.
And if you're new to North Central and you're not really familiar with the missions giving, we have people who pledge to give regularly, so they regularly give. But then we gave a specific special gift to them at the end of the year when there was a kind of extra. People gave extra kind of at the end of the year, and we had this surplus that we supported all of our missionaries with a surplus, and we decided to aim it in this direction. And so that's kind of where that came from, and that's really, again, a testament to the embodiment of our church family, of our generosity and our outwardness and gospel-centered values, where we're going to give over in abundance to people who are not specifically reaching our own kids, our own family, and for the sake of the good news being spread and making Jesus famous. So again, as Tom said, thank you, and Brooke said, thank you for your generosity in doing that. Going forward, how can we help support you in those million things you're planning on doing? So,
I never know how to answer that question when we're at North Central, because you guys already support us so much. But one thing that we were thinking about this week, and we talked about the last time that we were with you guys, is just being so far away. And, even in the time of COVID, and now as we're gearing up for this big next exciting season, we just want to feel more connected with you guys. So we have a private Facebook group. A lot of you probably have us on our personal Facebook accounts and things like that. But if you see something that we post, or if you're in our email newsletter that we send out every few months, we would love to hear back. We post a lot of updates, and we post a lot of videos, and we post a lot of content online in terms of newsletters and the group and all those sorts of things, but we don't always hear back. So if you do see something that we're doing and you see it, we would love to know that you put a comment, be like, hey, Syracuse misses you, or whatever it is, or not. You could just lie. If you could interact, we would love that. I know in the last year, when we did get those sort of interactions from you guys, that really, really meant a lot to us, and it just made us feel closer. God bless FaceTime and the internet, especially in times of COVID. But in terms of just relational support, we would really appreciate that. You guys already, give us tremendous financial support that we are just overwhelmed with. So grateful for. And then obviously, we really, really need your prayers. We're going into this new season, going to do a lot of new things that we haven't done before. And we believe these are big, big God dreams But Tom and I are also, like, in their eyes, like the big, loud Americans coming in to do this thing. And we believe that, God's chose us to do this for a reason, but we also are expecting a lot of, like, we don't do that here. Like, we don't really want that here. Tom, and you guys were just talking a little bit about the, secular people versus, the influence of Christendom, not necessarily the influence of Christianity in a faith, but the influence of Christendom. There's a way to do Christendom in many places in Europe where it's very, very strict and it's not very fun. And we really feel like the Holy Spirit has empowered us to do and present the gospel in a way that is fun and is applicable and where kids can hear it. And we're ready for that. So please pray. Please pray for open hearts. Pray for the Holy Spirit to move powerfully. Pray for kids to be open. Pray for us to say the right things and not offend. And
I would just say this just again. If God's called you to missions, whether it's Ireland or not, if it's somewhere, and you have a call in your life, and you're waiting for, like, the clouds to open or something to, like, smack you across the face to tell you to, like, jump in, this is it right here. Yeah. Go. Talk to it. We would love to talk to you. If you feel called, you're leaning into missions or looking into doing full-time missions, we would love to speak to you after service. The other thing is we're going to be in Kids Central today. We have some swag. As someone told me, they said, I forget who it was. I think it was Jim. Dave back there. He's wearing some swag. But we've got T-shirts, mugs, and stickers. If you buy all three, that is essentially buying us a chair for our new church plant. And so if you are interested in that, buy something for your kids. We've got kid sizes, we have adult sizes, and all that stuff. So we would love to just meet you and talk to you after service at our booth.
Dave will be modeling. He'll be out there walking the lobby back and forth. Okay, so if you need a better look, maybe not the best marketing strategy, but it's good. It'll work. It'll work. I mean, again, check. They are going to be in the lobby, and if you need a tour of the Kids Central space, well, during the message, I mean, that's where I'll be. I'll be touring Kids Central just so I can hang out with the Party Create crew during Kids Central. We're just grateful you're here. We're grateful that we can be a part of your journey as a church family that connects and supports you beyond just the financial element of it. And we are praying for you. And we invite you to pray for the Harshbergers. Pray about potentially being a monthly giver to support the Harshbergers. And we will, again, they are just furthering our vision of seeing gospel transformation in every heart, home, and neighborhood, not just here in central New York and Onondaga County. So thank you for doing this, and let's clap them off stage.